Hello dear friend, and welcome to On This Day SMR with me, Edward Hertz, where we take a look back through history at events which took place on this day. The rain is gently pittering and pattering away on the window, and the fire is crackling away nicely in the hearth. So put your headphones on, sit back, relax, and let me take you on a journey back through time. Today is Wednesday, the 6th of March 2024, and we have 47 events to cover, going all the way back to the year 13 BC. Starting with the most recent event which happened 4 years ago. 32 people are killed and 81 are injured when gunmen opened fire on a ceremony in Kabul, Afghanistan. The Islamic State claimed responsibility for the attack. 6 years ago in 2018, Forbes names Jeff Bezos as the world's richest person for the first time at $112 billion net worth. 16 years ago in 2008, the suicide bomber kills 68 people, including first responders, in Baghdad on the same day that a gunman kills 8 students in Jerusalem. 21 years ago in 2003, Air Algeria Flight 6289 crashes at the Agwana Hajj Bay Akamok Airport in Tamanrasset, Algeria, killing 102 out of the 103 people on board. "32 years ago in 1992, the Michelangelo computer virus begins to affect computers. 36 years ago in 1988, 3 provisional Irish Republican Army volunteers were shot dead by the SAS in Gibraltar in Operation Flavius. 37 years ago in 1987, the British ferry MS Herald of Free Enterprise capsizes in about 90 seconds, killing 193. 40 years ago in 1984, in the United Kingdom, a walk out at Cortonwood Colliery in Brampton, Beerlow, signals the start of a strike that lasted almost a year and involved the majority of the country's miners. 49 years ago in 1975, for the first time the Zapruder film of the assassination of John F. Kennedy is shown in motion to a national TV audience by Robert J. Groden and Dick Gregory. In the same year, Algiers Accord, Iran and Iraq announce a settlement of their border dispute. 54 years ago in 1970, an explosion at the Weather Underground safe house in Greenwich Village kills 3. 56 years ago in 1968, 3 rebels are executed by Rhodesia, the first executions since UDI, prompting international condemnation. 57 years ago in 1967, in the Cold War, Joseph Stalin's daughter Svetlana Aliyeva defects to the United States. 59 years ago in 1965, Premier Tom Playford of South Australia loses power after 27 years in office. 60 years ago in 1964, Nation of Islam leader Elijah Muhammad officially gives boxing champion Cassius Clay the name Muhammad Ali. In the same year, Constantine II becomes the last king of Greece. 67 years ago in 1957, Ghana becomes the first sub-Saharan country to gain independence from the British. 71 years ago in 1953, Georgy Malenkov succeeds Joseph Stalin as Premier of the Soviet Union and first Secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union. 73 years ago in 1951, in the Cold War, the trial of Ethel and Julius Rosenberg begins. 78 years ago in 1946, Ho Chi Minh signs an agreement with France which recognizes Vietnam as an autonomous state in the Indo-Chinese Federation and the French Union. 79 years ago in 1945, in World War II, Cologne is captured by American troops. On the same day, Operation Spring Awakening, the last major German offensive of the war, begins. Eight years ago in 1944, again in World War II, Soviet air forces bomb an evacuated town of Narva in German-occupied Estonia, destroying the entire historical Swedish-era town. "81 years ago in 1943, Norman Rockwell publishes Freedom from Want in the Saturday Evening Post with a matching essay by Carlos Bulasan as part of the Four Freedoms series. In the same year, in World War II, General Field Marshal Erwin Rommel launches the Battle of Medellin in an attempt to slow down the British Eighth Army. It fails and leaves Africa 3 days later. In the same year, and again in World War II, the Battle of Fadi Campos, one of the first major battles between the Greek resistance and the occupying Italian army, ends with the surrender of an entire Italian battalion, the bulk of the garrison of the town of Gravina, leading to its liberation a fortnight later. "91 years ago in 1933, in the Great Depression, President Franklin D. Roosevelt declares a bank holiday, closing all US banks and freezing all financial transactions. "94 years ago in 1930, International Unemployment Day demonstrations globally initiated by the Comintern. 112 years ago in 1912, in the Italo-Turkish War, Italian forces become the first to use airships in war, as two dirigibles drop bombs on Turkish troops encamped at Janzur from an altitude of 1,800 meters. 120 years ago in 1904, Scottish National Antarctic Expedition. Led by William Spears Bruce, the Antarctic region of Coats Land was discovered from the Scotia. 123 years ago in 1901, anarchist assassin tries to kill German Emperor Wilhelm II. 125 years ago in 1899, Bayer registers aspirin as a trademark. 142 years ago in 1882, the Serbian kingdom is refounded. 155 years ago in 1869, Dmitry Mendeleev presents the first periodic table to the Russian Chemical Society. 167 years ago in 1857, the Supreme Court of the United States rules 7-2 in the Dred Scott versus Sanford case that the Constitution does not confer citizenship on black people. 188 years ago in 1836, in the Texas Revolution. Battle of the Alamo. After a 13-day siege by an army of 3,000 Mexican troops, the 187 Texas volunteers, including frontiersman Davy Crockett and Colonel Jim Bowie, defending the Alamo, are killed and the fort is captured. "190 years ago in 1834, York, Upper Canada, is incorporated as Toronto. 204 years ago in 1820, the Missouri Compromise is signed into law by President James Monroe. The compromise allows Missouri to enter the Union as a slave state, brings Maine into the Union as a free state, and makes the rest of the northern part of the Louisiana Purchase Territory slavery-free. "236 years ago in 1788, the first fleet arrives at Norfolk Island in order to found a convict settlement. "359 years ago in 1665, the first Joint Secretary of the Royal Society, Henry Oldenburg, publishes the first issue of Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society, the world's longest-running scientific journal. 503 years ago in 1521, Ferdinand Magellan arrives at Guam. 570 years ago in 1454, in the 13 Years' War, delegates of the Prussian Confederation pledge allegiance to King Casimir IV of Poland, who agrees to commit his forces in aiding the Confederation struggle for independence from the Teutonic Knights. "820 years ago in 1204, the siege of Chateau Galard ends in a French victory over King John of England, who loses control of Normandy to King Philip II Augustus. 1063 years ago in 961, Byzantine conquest of Shandax by Nikephoros Phokas, end of the Emirate of Crete. "1,179 years ago in 845, the 42 martyrs of Amorium are killed after refusing to convert to Islam. 1,392 years ago in 632, the farewell sermon Khutbatul Wada of the Islamic prophet Muhammad. 2,036 years ago in 13 BC, the Roman Emperor Augustus is named Pontifex Maximus, incorporating the position into that of the Emperor. So that is all we have for today. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope that you found our little trip back through history both relaxing and informative. If you did indeed like the video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and also consider leaving a comment below. All feedback is very much welcome. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel. It will really help the channel grow and will ensure that you are notified of future videos. Be sure to turn on notifications so that you are notified of future videos as soon as they are posted. Thank you again, and I hope to see you next time.